Subscribe, like, comment and share to support the channel. Thank you for the support.
The trials went on as another candidate was disqualified for failing the strength test. More of the candidates began to feel depressed over seeing so many of their fellow cadets failing what was supposed to be an easy test. Some time has passed. When finally the commander announces the end of the strength test, he informs the remaining candidates that they will be proceeding onto the agility stat test immediately without taking breaks. As the losers were kicked out of the room, the remaining few began to set up for the agility test in a hurry. Soon enough, a green fence was created alongside what looks like a machine gun. The remaining candidates became even more anxious upon seeing what equipment the agility test was using. They looked around one another, thinking that the commanders were going to ask them to dodge bullets, just like Neo in the Matrix. It seems that what they thought was true as the commander tells them with a smile, to not worry as they would just be using rubber bullets. But he warns them that it will still hurt if they got shot, so they need to prepare to dodge everything. Min Jun on the other hand was impressed by the machine gun as he stared at it, thinking that it was pretty interesting. The commander informs them that the perfect score for the agility test is given for lasting 1 minute. So all they needed to do was just to stay within the designated area inside the net. But he also tells them that while this was called an agility test, if candidates were confident in their tanking skills, then the commanders will also acknowledge those who last for a minute while taking hits. But those words of comfort seemed to worry the cadets as even more sweat started to appear on their faces. The commander then moves on to inform them about the disqualification criteria. He tells them that if they come outside of the netted area within less than 30 seconds, or become severely injured, then they will be disqualified from the advancement examination. The moment they announce the start of the test, someone approaches Min Jun from the back and calls out to him. It turns out to be his best buddy Dong Jin, but Min Jun was actually surprised to see him here. Seeing his surprised face made Dong Jin question Min Jun on whether he thought that he would be disqualified in the strength test. He caught our boy as Min Jun became flustered by the question. Dong Jin then tells him that all of the private first-class cadets have passed the advancement exam once before, so they wouldn't be disqualified from the stat tests. But he knew that the problem was the overall score standard had gotten higher for them compared to when they were privates, which was why he had been failing the exams. He then tells Min Jun that the rubber bullets would fly as fast as the real ones, so he shouldn't depend on his sight to dodge them. Which was why it was important to watch for any slight movements of the gun to predict the bullet trajectory. But as the two bros talk to one another, one of the cadets shouts in pain. It was revealed that one of them had been shot in the head, causing the cadet to collapse onto the ground with a bleeding head. As they helped the cadet walk away from the test, the commander announced that he had been disqualified. Seeing this made Min Jun think about how so many of them were being disqualified just from the stat test, which was why the pass rate was so low. But thinking about how easily the cadets would be killed by monsters made Min Jun realize that the commanders were reasonable in making it difficult. Another cadet was soon disqualified as well, leaving only his shoe in the designated area. This sight made the commander complain as he questioned the capability of the hunters in this round as they were nothing compared to the sergeant advancement exam that was taking place in the exam room right next to theirs. He then asks them how they expected to advance like this. As the disqualified cadet leaves, the commander calls out for the next victim. This time was Seo's turn as she stretched before the green net. The test starts as a rubber bullet is sent flying at great speed. The other cadets watch in awe as Seo easily dodges the waves of rubber bullets while the timer is slowly counting down to 60. As she reached closer to a minute, the cadets exclaimed in wonder over how well she was doing. Even the commander complimented her, telling the others that this was how it was done. Soon enough, at the finale where she dodged all 4 rubber bullets at once, Seo had reached the perfect score of lasting for a minute. As she made her way back to the other cadets, she continued to notice one other cadet. It was our boy Min Jun as she stared at him with a stern face while he wondered what she was doing. Even the cadets could see her staring, making them wonder if they were dating. But her stare doesn't seem to stop, as Min Jun looks right at her, wondering what she wanted from her. But the staring contest between them ends as the commander calls for Min Jun to come forward. As he turned to leave for the test, Seo's eyes were still locked onto him, making him feel super uncomfortable. As he stood in the test area, Min Jun wondered if she wanted him to compliment her on her perfect score, but he thought that she should ask her family to do that at home for her. The machine gun then started to move and fired the first rubber bullet to start the test, which Min-jun easily dodged by slightly tilting his head, surprising Eun-seo as she witnessed it firsthand. With his hand in his pocket, Min-jun thought that he should show her the differences between their talent levels. Our boy began to flex on the others by doing the test with his hands in his pockets. Shocking the other cadets is what he didn't register in their NPC minds. Min-jun was casually dodging the rubber bullets by moving forward, something that hasn't been done by others at all. The test was super easy to our boy as he smiled while the rubber bullets narrowly went past his face. His actions continue to shock Eun-seo as it left her mouth wide open. Min-jun even found some time to smile and smirk at her while he made his way forward through the hail of rubber bullets. Even the commander was stupefied by his actions to the point that he didn't even realize that Min-jun had gone past the 1-minute mark. He immediately shouts for the test to end, declaring that Min-jun had achieved a perfect score on the agility test. This was after our boy had dodged all the rubber bullets to the point that he was right beside the machine gun. The agility test ends as they now gather before a blue portal. The commander seems to still be affected by what Min-jun had done as he compliments everyone on doing well for the agility test while being flustered and telling them that they will now commence the stamina stat test. The stamina stat test, the last out of the 3, was extremely simple. Marching inside an empty transforming dungeon within a time limit of 40 minutes. A voice on the walkie-talkie reports to the commander that all the cadets had gone in the portal. All they had to do was to get their hands stamped by the examiner at the turning point and return until that time runs out. The only problem was the distance to the turning point, which they did not inform the cadets about, making them wonder how long they had to keep marching. As Min-jun marched with his fellow cadets, he wondered if they were pacing themselves since the test had just started. Everyone being so careful made him feel stifled as he wondered if it would be too troublesome if he just ran ahead. While thinking about that, another candidate knocks Min-jun by the shoulder and brushes past him. It turns out to be Eun-seo who was signaling to Min-jun about something as she made a mad dash in front of everyone. Her action seems to annoy Min-jun as he stares at her with a mad grin on his face. Thinking that she was challenging him right now, Min-jun accepts her challenge as he charges in front of everyone as well, causing the other cadets to be anxious as they call out to him to wait. As Eun-seo ran with all her might, she couldn't help but feel something coming by her side. On your right, it turns out that Min-jun was able to catch up to her within a few minutes, without even breaking a sweat. He tells her that there wasn't much to this, which startles Eun-seo, but he assures her that he was just talking to himself. Our boy then charges past her, giggling to himself while smirking. Seeing how fast Min-jun was going made Eun-seo come to a complete stop. She tries her best to catch her breath, as a flashback occurs. We see her back in uniform as she opens a door. The moment she does, she is greeted by loud cheers which surprise Eun-seo. The other female cadets began to bombard her with a bunch of questions. Asking her if she was Sun Eun-seo, the daughter of a general and the recruit with extremely high stats that everyone was talking about. Eun-seo seemed to be shy as she hesitates to answer them straight away. As she made her way through the bunk room, she couldn't help but overhear the compliments that her bunkmates were talking out loud about her. They continued to look at her, thinking that her military life was going to be so easy and that Eun-seo would definitely be the best recruit in their enlistment year. But as she removed her uniform, Eun-seo couldn't help but think of the moment that Min-jun had destroyed the red crystal into pieces, making her wonder what was with him. The scene changes to a different venue where a voice declares that the white team had won. Eun-seo could be seen waving a blue flag with a smile on her face, as she made her way back to her team. They cheered her on. The commander announces that the record for the blue team's flag being captured by the white team was 3 minutes and 34 seconds. As he tells the white team to take a 10 minutes break, he tells the blue team to gather in front of them right now. Another commander informs the girls' squad that they had set a new record for the training center, so they could take it easy and rest for now. The ladies talked amongst themselves, thinking that they didn't do much and it was all because of their best comrade Eun-seo. Hearing those compliments and cheer brought a smile to her face as she rested with her team. We now return to the bunk where the ladies showed off their incredible muscles, when another member barges into the room. She informs them that the record they set had been broken during the afternoon training. She complained to the others that it was ridiculous, as the new record was 1 minute and 2 seconds, which didn't even make sense to her. Upon hearing this new information, the other ladies wondered who it was that set such a record. The blonde cadet reveals to them that it was Kim Min-jun who broke it all alone. hearing his name immediately catches Seo's attention as she realizes that it was him. As the days went by, the blonde cadet continued to inform the others about how Kim Min-jun had set another near-perfect score in shooting the ICM bullets, which was apparently a new record in the training center. Even as they marched with heavy bags, the blonde cadet tells the others that Min-jun from the 4th platoon was able to run twice as fast without even breaking a sweat. Till late at night, she continued to speak about our boy, about how he had caught a hound that was the size of an elephant in the dungeon, but everyone seemed to have grown tired of the tales of Min-jun as they asked her to shut up. Even Seo finally closed her eyes, but her eyes remained open once again as she recalled a memory within a memory. A soldier could be seen tying his boots. With a huge muscular back that could be seen through his uniform, a kid version of Seo appears behind the man. She looked up to him as he waves at her with a smile on his face before rubbing her head. As he turned to leave through the door, Seo continued to watch him with a smile on her face, thinking that she will become strong like her father. We now turn to the battalion commander's office where he compliments her good work and training for the past 4 weeks. He informs her that the reason she was here was so that he could have a talk with his former superior's daughter. Seo replies that she was glad to be here, so the commander asks her about which unit she wanted to apply to, telling her that her exceptional grades were enough for her to be dispatched to any division she wishes for. But she remained silent for a while, which prompted the commander to ask her if she wanted to be in the 107th Division, which was where General Sun is. But all she told him was a name, Kim Min-jun. She let out a deep breath, before asking the commander about which division Min-jun had applied to. We now return to the present where Seo continued to run after Min-jun, thinking that the reason why she applied to this division wasn't just so that she could have these childish competitions. She thought about how she had provoked Min-jun like a little girl just because she was upset, which made her understand why he was mad. Recalling how Min-jun had acted all chill and confident during the test, even achieving godlike scores made Seo wonder if she had been jealous of him. She then thought that she should apologize first, reminding herself that her goal was to become strong, as she came here so that she could get stronger without her father's help. Seo then decides that if she really encountered someone so skillful, then she should admit it and try to learn as much as possible. So let's stop acting childish, was her final thought as she finally reached the place where Min-jun was. It was also where the turning point was being held. Min-jun spots her just as the commander tells him to hurry up and leave since his record is great right now. But our boy takes the time to flex on Seo, showing her that his hand had already been stamped before her. As he walks by her, he taunts her, telling her that he almost fell asleep while waiting for her. His taunt seems to work as Seo immediately became infuriated by his words. She yells at the commander to quickly stamp her hand, which startles the man. She then began her pursuit of Min-jun once again, filled with hatred for our boy. She pushed away the thought of apologizing to him first as just the sight of his face was now enough to piss her off. The test seems to have ended for the both of them as they made it out of the portal. Seo was breathing heavily while Min-jun was casually adjusting his beret, still without a drop of sweat on his face. The commander happily announces that the time was up, declaring that Min-jun was in first place with a record of 29 minutes. He also announced that Seo was in second place with a record of 32 minutes. The commander then praises Min-jun for being incredible as he had achieved a perfect score in all the tests. Min-jun was glad to hear that as he thanked the commander for the compliment. Since the tests had been completed, the commander ordered everyone to eat their meals and gather in front of the training grounds at 1 o'clock. The cadets responded back with "Sir, yes sir" upon hearing his orders. As Seo picked her uniform off the ground, she couldn't help but notice that Min-jun was the one staring at her now. But this time, he attacks first with a tongue attack to mock her, which surprises Seo, who continued to be confused over our boy's action as he left her. It turns out that Jin had passed the test too, which surprises Min-jun as they talked about it. Seeing him walk away, Seo lets out another sigh. She talked to herself about how she was the one that fell for provocation in the end, and on top of that, she had lost. Leaving her with nothing else left to say as she smiles. Feeling the sun's warmth on her face, she composes herself and wears the beret back onto her head, before following behind her fellow cadets. The scene then changes to the 105th Division Base, 2nd Practical Examination Center. A massive wooden club hits the ground, which reveals a bunch of ugly monsters holding them while a lone soldier was surrounded by them. The goblins began to growl loudly, as though signaling to one another that they should attack as one of them laid on the ground. choking on its own blood. The lone soldier appears to be Dong Jin, who wipes the sweat off his face, which was filled with fatigue as he began to breathe heavily. His rest was cut off short as a blue goblin charges at him from the side with its wooden club poised to strike. Dong Jin sees it coming and immediately readies his weapon as well, a katana. But as soon as he does, a green goblin moves to strike him from the rear, much to his surprise. His eyes immediately senses the impending attack from the blue goblin, which he blocks with his katana before stomping the thing away with his foot. Just as he thought it was over, the green goblin appears right behind him. He sees the wooden club just inches away from smacking his face, but katana beats the wooden club as Dong Jin manages to slice both the wooden club and the green goblin together in one motion while remaining unharmed from its attack. But his attack didn't end the fight as the green goblin remained standing. Fatigue started to build up in Dong Jin as he started to breathe more heavily while facing against the green goblin, who appears to be smirking, as if it knows Dong Jin's state. Another blue goblin appears by the other goblin's side to face Dong Jin together. Min Jun was paying close attention to the fight, deep in his thoughts. The second part of the practical exam, known as the Specialty Weapons Proficiency, was much simpler than he expected. They just displayed the techniques we had learned in the Hunter Corps to the examiner, and that was the end of the test. Destructive power of our moves didn't matter. They simply had to follow the manuals in order to pass, so naturally, Min Jun got the perfect score. Most applicants had chosen swordsmanship for their tests, and among them, Dong Jin received a very high score. But as the commander praised him for his swordsmanship, Dong Jin seemed to be worried about something else. As we returned to the present, as Min Jun watched him, he knew that Dong Jin was struggling in combat. As the goblins started their attacks once again, it was explained that in the last part of the practical exam, known as the ability to handle monsters, privates have to defeat 4 hounds, whereas privates first class have to beat 3 goblins while wielding the chosen specialty weapon. Which is definitely actual combat, as seen by Dong Jin's actions as he cuts down the goblins one by one. As the final blue goblin laid on the ground, Dong Jin stood on top of it with his katana aimed at its chest. With a final push, he ends the life of the blue goblin, signaling the end of his test. But the commander was disappointed as he told Dong Jin that he had taken 7 minutes and 52 seconds to finish the ability to handle the monster's test before telling him to return to his seat. Hearing his result dealt a heavy blow as Dong Jin showed an upset face before returning back. Min Jun continued to watch from the stands, knowing that Dong Jin had many opportunities to slay the goblins, but each time, he hesitated. Making Min Jun wonder if Dong Jin did not trust in his own abilities. The sad boy makes his appearance back into the stand where Min Jun could see that he was upset with the results. The commander then calls for Min Jun to head downstairs and to get ready. As our boy made his way down, he reminded Dong Jin not to be discouraged, because today, when our boy becomes a corporal, he was going to tear him apart piece by piece to fix those habits of his. The other cadets were shocked by something, including Unio and the commander who stood beside her. A bat with nails pierced into it was shown. Min Jun had chosen the Negan style from The Walking Dead. The commander thought about how Min Jun had received a perfect score for all his stats, but couldn't believe that he came out with such a dull weapon, which would make it hard for him this time. But his worries meant nothing to Min Jun as he knew what the test needed. The gate soon opened to reveal 3 goblins of different sizes holding spiky wooden clubs in their hands. Seeing them made Min Jun smile as all he needed was nothing more than some impact to pass the test. As the 3 goblins wasted no time at all, they charged towards our boy. In response, Min Jun grips his bat hard till the point that veins started to show on his hand. An image of an eagle about to hunt its cute little rabbit is shown just as Min Jun takes a single swing towards the goblins. Just like the eagle about to rip the rabbit to shreds, so did our boy to the goblins. Now you see them, now you don't. As a single swing of the bat was all that was needed to wipe them out of existence. The stopwatch showed an unbelievable number, as the commander shouted out 4 seconds. The other commanders that watched the test couldn't believe that there was such a talented hunter in the 104th Division. Another commander recognizes Min Jun as the fellow who received the perfect score in every part of the practical exam, and was just a mere private first class. The other cadets cheered from the stands while Unio remained dazed by what Min Jun had achieved. Wasting no time at all, he takes a peek at her, which catches her attention as she stares back at him. Showing off a smirky grin, Min Jun poses like a god, telling everyone to worship him. Unio saw his reaction and couldn't believe what kind of reckless bastard he was. The sun began to set as the cadets were gathered together while the commander informed them of their good work during the exams. He specially singled Min Jun out for his achievements, causing Min Jun to shout out his rank and name, which was now Corporal Kim Min Jun. The commander praises our boy for being a lucky bastard, since he advanced so quickly to the point that he had almost forgotten his rank. He even gives a thumbs up, revealing to Min Jun that he was worried since he was the only one that advanced from their battalion, but the battalion commander was overjoyed with the report right now, since he said that there hadn't been a private first class passing the practical exam with the perfect score. The other cadets then began to crowd all around Min Jun, congratulating him on his fast promotion and also telling him not to bully them when he turns into a sergeant. But as he greeted the compliments with a smile, his inner thought was different as he wanted to see how well these kids would do first. As they boarded the bus back to bunk, Min Jun catches a glimpse of Dong Jin. He gives him a reassuring pat on the shoulder which Dong Jin was happy to accept. But our boy had evil intentions as he planned to train him with their specialty weapons as soon as they got back. Soon after everyone got on the bus, they noticed something outside the window. As Min Jun was the last to board, he turned around to see that Unio was standing behind him. He noticed that her rank had changed to corporal as well. Seeing her new rank made him recall that she did pretty well at the ability to handle the monsters test. He guessed it was obvious that she would pass the advancement exam as he turned to board the bus. The moment he sat down, he noticed something else. Unio was still standing outside the bus, staring at our boy. She thought about how she should take this opportunity to apologize for her rudeness during the stat test. But before she could say anything, something caught her eye. Min Jun had slammed his own face against the window of the bus, mouthing the following words, "If you provoke me again, you're dead." Seeing him mouth those words alarms Unio as she stood in shock while the bus went away. Once again, she couldn't believe what she saw and called our boy a crazy son of a bitch.
Thanks for watching the latest part from the voice of Manhwa. Subscribe for more content and don't forget to comment below what you want to see in the future. Like and share for more.